Hi, welcome to PDQ Live. I just love watching that intro, honestly.
It's
Last
pretty good.
part is my
It's pretty good.
favorite.
The tune just gets stuck in my head, though, for the rest of the day.
It's true. Me too.
Yeah.
All right, welcome. We have a good show for you today. We actually have a lot going on, so I can't waste time.
No, we sure
First thing, we haven't done this for a while.
We sure haven't. What is it?
Tech?
Yeah.
You ready?
I'm ready for it.
Man, I seriously went down the rabbit hole for you on this one.
You did. You took a deep. You went every different direction.
Yeah.
And some of them overlap, but we went all kinds of places.
Well, I'm me, so I went one direction, then I came back. This is where I ended up, though. You ready?
Okay. Yep, I'm ready.
This one, you will see it in Discord a lot this week, but I went to where I thought is the beginning of MITRE getting defunded.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yep.
It all started with Brian Krebs getting fired. So for those of you that don't know, Brian was the head of Homeland Security.
CISA.
Yes.
CISA.
Oh,
Yeah.
CISA, sorry.
Yeah.
And essentially, long story short, he refused to say that the 2020 election was fraudulent, and
Yeah.
so he got fired.
Yeah, he got canned, right?
Yeah, he got canned. So I think that MITRE getting defunded was collateral damage.
Well,
Against him.
what like the threat of, right?
Yes,
Because at the
Mhm.
very last minute,
Yeah.
right? It changes, and CVE program gets funded.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it brought up some interesting stuff for us that we talked about yesterday. Of like, well, what does that actually mean?
Yes.
Like, if that happens.
Well, yeah. So first of all, this guy, he was a very serious cybersecurity guy for a long time.
Yeah.
So when we dug into it, MITRE is a 25-year-old program that was fully funded by the U.S. government all that time. But it's a global resource.
Yep.
So the question is, why is only the U.S. government funding it when it's used globally, right? And what does that actually mean? And you brought up some really good points.
Sure. They're like, it's access to information, right?
Mhm.
Like, you have information, you have it quickly. And then if you control that information, right, then that has power. Information has power. Information is power.
Mhm.
What I think is interesting is kind of the vacuum that would have to be instantly filled. And it was this fun thought experiment for a while of like, okay, let's say this does happen, and the CVE program goes away, then what? What's going to come in and take that place, or is there anything?
Well, so I sent you a couple other articles. One of them talks about, not that one. One of them talks about, it's okay. It's okay if MITRE goes away because NIST will just fill its place. And I was like, no, it won't. So there was some misinformation out there.
Well, there was. It just left the open, right? It was just the open question. So what I think will be interesting at this is like, it got funded for another 11 months. What does this then do for the next 11 months?
Okay, so what happened this morning, and the one that I sent you this morning, which is interesting, is what you and I were talking about yesterday is the global cybersecurity industry is like, hey, this is a problem.
Yeah.
Had this not been funded, we are kind of
So yeah,
SOL.
it's going to be interesting to see what happens to vulnerability databases over the next 10 months, because I think the fear is like it was depended on and then it was shown to be maybe not so dependable.
Yeah. Well, they realized there's no fail-safe.
Yeah, there's no fail-safe.
They realized they need to have a second layer. And so the global community, it looks like, based on the article I sent you today, is going to step in and say, we can't count on the U.S. government anymore.
It will be interesting to see what happens to like vulnerabilities over the next year.
But secondarily, so the next one is,
This one?
and I didn't actually know this exists. The Pentagon had a SWAT team of nerds that was forced out this week as well. This one's a little terrifying, but yeah, the Defense Digital Service was created in 2015. Supposed to be the best of the best, Silicon Style Valley. So they're gone now too. So kind of scary too.
Yeah, I think there's a lot changing in the cybersecurity landscape, right? Whether you see people that are leaving, places that are starting. I think like Brian Krebs leaving CISA has been like kind of like a domino effect, and I think it'll be interesting to watch for the next 6 months to a year.
Interesting / terrifying. One of those words is good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Should we shift? Should we shift gears now?
Yep, let's shift.
So let's talk about Microsoft for a minute.
Yeah, is Microsoft just testing in production? What are they doing? What's going on?
Let's give them the benefit of the doubt for just a second.
Okay.
And let's show them one cool article that you found. There was something nice that they're starting.
Oh, I do like
that's
this.
Nifty.
I do like this.
Okay.
I don't want to get crazy, but do you think this actually means you could not have a third-party EDR? Tell me your thoughts.
Well, yeah, I do think it does. So the new Defender ATP, like one of these policies that they're testing is if it's a like untrusted or unregistered devices, what they're starting to do is like block those unregistered devices from communicating with other devices. Mm-hmm. So like an isolate, but in reverse.
Yeah, well, because you could do this a little bit before with conditional access policies. You could say if you don't meet these requirements, you're on timeout.
Yeah, and
so
you could like quarantine a device, right? But that was once it was already onboarded. This is the inverse. This is like, ooh, I see, via like MDNS, via NetBIOS, via whatever, local discovery, this device, and it's not onboarded. I'm going to use all of my friends here, and I'm going to block this containment, right? So it does this by blocking everything but specific ports and communication directions. So really cool here. This helps with like rogue devices on your network. So there's the silver lining for what Microsoft did that was good. Okay,
now let's talk about what they did that was
there's only a few more tabs
just
like that.
Everything else. Ooh, they really did not do Outlook any favors this week. Okay.
No. Yeah, you can't restore Outlook Classic. That's busted.
I have a theory about this, but okay, this is the first one.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, if you're still running Exchange 2016 and 2019, by the way, this is your 6th month. Heads up.
I wonder why.
Oops.
Okay. I think, here's my theory on that.
Yeah.
They just want your money. They want you to, it's the subscription-based model now. They want you to pay.
You know what? Server 2016, Exchange 2016, it's time to go.
You think?
Yeah, it's 10 years old.
Okay.
Time to go.
All right.
This was interesting to me. So they create a security fix, right? That creates an INET pub folder, right? Which is typically associated only with IIS. And you'd see that on IIS servers. But now this is on other machines that don't have IIS.
We promise it's nothing bad.
Don't delete it.
I know. I like this.
Right? Like, what is going on? Like, I don't understand what's going on at Microsoft and how these like fixes are getting rolled out.
I don't know.
And P.S. Don't remove that folder if you see it.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we can bookend it. And this is kind of another good thing that Microsoft did. I would say probably 10 years too late. ActiveX is now blocked by default in Microsoft 365 and Office 2024.
Yeah, they did not have the best week, did they?
Yeah, they did not. But I just want to remember, ActiveX was released in 1996.
Nice. Only 3 decades. Josh, it only took 3 decades. Come on. It's fine. It's fine.
It's been a rough month for Microsoft.
It has.
Curious if anybody else has run into. I know last week we heard some people that were running into issues with updates. Anybody else?
I think the April 4th updates just had a myriad of issues. I just pulled some for you. There was a ton.
Yeah, I'm wondering how many more are going to shake out over the next week, right?
Yeah, I think more. Yeah.
All right.
Probably some more.
Let's get on to some better news.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
I think we've got a new segment today. We're going to show some new stuff at PDQ. We're going to show some shiny new things.
Shiny new things.
His voice is creepy. I love it though.
All right, we've got a couple shiny new things.
Okay.
Okay, what do you want to show first, Sarah? What's shiny thing number 1?
I think let's show we have new dynamic groups in SimpleMDM. Should we show those?
Yeah. All right.
Kelly starts off meetings like that. He totally does.
All right. So these have been out for a little while, so they're not quite so brand new, but they're pretty new.
They are.
Right? And I don't think we've highlighted these yet.
We haven't talked about them. No, we have videos that we did on them.
Yeah.
But we haven't.
All right. So here I am in groups. Drive me, Tara.
So click on groups.
Yep.
And it's nice because why do something 10 times when you can add 10 devices to a group and do it one time? So click Josh. I might have named my group Josh.
Oh.
Josh's cool kids.
Okay.
You're cool. So now,
what defines Josh's cool kids?
This is a dynamic group. So you see the upside down triangle thing there? That tells you it's a dynamic group. And then if you want to expand it out, there's a filter. Yep. You can make it bigger too if you want to, but there's a filter. So that's the criteria.
Our resolution doesn't make that look great. Sorry.
That's the criteria.
Hit that double arrow at the top by Josh's cool kids.
That
Up
one?
on higher.
Higher, a little bit higher, next to Josh.
There
we go.
we go.
Yay.
Sorry.
And so you can pick your criteria right there. And I just did the device model name contains Pro, and then installed application name contains Chrome. So it's going to pick anything with Pro in the name, and anything is Chrome. But you can click on those, and these are all the things that you can pick.
You can do all kinds of fun things.
Yeah, you can do it. And at the top,
application static groups.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can add, from here I can add profiles, I can add the applications, I can add the media, and then I could add any kind of configuration.
So this sets you up for like, if this and that, like, hey, if it meets this criteria, put on this profile. If it does this, put this media there, blah, blah, blah. So as things move around in your environment, you don't have to come in here and make changes.
Yeah, so it's just the perfect way to add things. And then you can also do a static group too. So same way, you would just go back over to groups. You can do it there too. Yeah. Hit add, and it gives you the option. Just name it
type?
static. If you hit static, and then add a name at the top there. And if you want to, you can deploy the SimpleMDM app if you want. So just click yes, and then if you want to track the location,
sure, why not?
Let's do it. Yep, and then create, and then you have all these options down below. And for the static group over on the right hand side, you can add the device. So go down, put your cursor right there and assign devices by name.
How about you drive?
Okay, yeah. Right here, if I put my mouse in here as I'm driving on the chair, which obviously is not going to work all that well. Now it's going to drop my devices down here. I can just put them in here because I'm in a static, right? If I was in a dynamic,
then you'd have the
filter.
Then
I add my filter. Exactly. And then it would just continue to update. So we added that to this product.
Cool, shiny new thing number 1.
I know.
All right, should we go to shiny new thing number 2?
Yes.
Okay, shiny new thing number 2. We're going to switch gears. We're going to go to portal.pdq.com.
Yes.
So this is a place where you'd manage subscriptions, licensings, things like that.
Authorization types.
But auth.
Yes. So
auth for Connect is here.
Yes.
This is where the beginnings of auth are going to exist, right?
Yes. And I actually learned something when I went here.
What'd you learn?
Well, so I was talking to one of the vice presidents at lunch, because that's what I do. I talk to people here. Well, first thing I learned that I have a license for Connect. I was like, sweet, I'm going to go install some more stuff.
Yeah, 1,000 licenses.
You'll see anything attached to you, right? Here's all my products. And then if you click on team, look, there's my team. I'm going to revoke your access immediately. Look, I can manage you.
Yeah.
I can manage you.
Yeah, look at that.
So you can do lots of things to your team members. So I just clicked around in here. And one thing that I had been having a problem with is my authentic. This is actually real. I'm not making this up.
This was your auth, right? Yeah.
I have my authenticator app is attached to 2 jobs ago. I'm not even making this up. And I had been complaining to Josh about it. And I was like, this is driving me crazy. Yep. And I actually wiped my iPhone recently and got a new phone. I could have fixed it here.
Yeah.
But I didn't know it was here.
You had to go unlink your auth. So yeah, you can unlink auth here. You can set up another auth method here. For your team, for everybody else, down here you can set like the login timeouts. You can set the authentication methods. No SSO tax. Want to go set up OIDC? Go for it. And then there's all these different things. So I do want to call out, you can get yourself into a little bit of a sticky situation, right? Make sure that as you're changing these things, that you have another one set up.
Yeah, don't lock yourself out.
Don't lock yourself out. That's bad. You can do it. Don't do it. Pay attention to what you're doing here is what you're turning on and off, right? It's also really helpful to have a friend, right? Someone else who's an admin in here.
Right.
Have different auth methods. So in case you do lock yourself out.
Exactly. But yeah, go take a look. Make sure you see everything's in there because they've added some stuff. So
yeah.
All right.
Those are some shiny new things. Yeah. And like Andrew said, he's a crow. Like shiny. Speaking of Andrew, Andrew just got back from a really, really cool conference, right?
He did.
Yeah. Well, how about some story time with Andrew?
Story time with Andrew.
Andrew, welcome to the show. Where did you go? What did you do? Who'd you talk to?
Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? I was in PowerShell Summit in Redmond, I think is the area, or Bellevue rather. Right by Microsoft's campus. It is a conference that I've gone to every year since 2018. Back in 2018, I actually got a scholarship to attend because it's kind of expensive across the world. So that sort of really kicked off my journey with helping people with PowerShell and sort of led us to where we are today. But this year was fantastic. It's sort of a pivotal year in a lot of ways. 2018 was a really impactful year because it changed my career. And now I've sort of built up some stuff, and it's kind of wild that to me, it feels like this year was almost more impactful. But we recorded a ton of sessions. I got to meet a ton of podcast listeners, a lot of people who came there after hearing about it from the podcast, took some fun photos with them. And, there was even some award. Oh yeah, look at these. Look at that group. Yeah, the group in the top right. Yeah, we all took a photo with some of the podcast listeners, got some good friends there. And it was pretty splendid. Oh,
hey, who's that guy?
Jordan.
No, that's Jordan. Jordan spent $100 on one glass.
No, he didn't. What was he drinking?
He really did. It was some Japanese kind, and it tasted really aggressive.
Oh, there's Jordan. He's in the chat. Hi, Jordan.
That's amazing.
Yes, and yeah, it was awesome. Somebody gave me the hat off their head. I actually did an interview with him, David R. A lot of fantastic stuff. Check out the bar sessions from this week of the PowerShell podcast. They're some of my favorites because I talked to a lot of people about PowerShell and the tech side of things. And at this conference, I was asking people about their experience, what stood out to them. And it was so wild to hear so many different people talk about how impactful it was just being amongst other humans, the opportunity to connect, to be validated, and all those kinds of things, which was, it's always been something that I've noticed. But now to hear so many other people, and I didn't coach him up for the interviews. So another one coming out next Monday with some great stuff. And so, yeah, there was, oh gosh, so many great memories there.
He's so smiley, isn't he?
Just looks like you're having a good time. Hey, who are those guys?
Yeah, we actually did that's Jeffrey Snover and Don Jones. I was fortunate enough to have them both in the flesh, which is a rare thing to happen these days. And I got to do over an hour of an interview in the flesh with them. And I think we actually have a teaser for that because that'll be coming out in a few weeks.
Ooh, I'm excited for that.
Just have to click the button. Right?
Okay. I guess that's a great way to introduce things. This is the PowerShell podcast. We have a very special episode in the flesh at PowerShell Summit. Don Jones, Jeffrey Snover, pillars of the community. A lot of the folks who I've had on the podcast over the years are standing on the shoulders of giants, so to speak, and you two are some of the giants of the community, and you've kind of raised up your own fleet of giants, you've raised up fleet of giants, and it's a pleasure to have you all on the podcast. And I think today I want to talk about sort of your shared mutual history with PowerShell and honestly where it takes us.
Is it a fleet of giants or would it be a flock of giants?
I think it's a herd.
A herd?
A herd.
A herd.
I heard
Yeah.
A gaggle?
Murder not
of
gaggle.
giants? No.
A murder of giants, maybe.
Murder of giants.
Murder of giants, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
this
This is what happens. By the way,
Very entertaining,
Don
not very
lied
formative.
in his talk.
What did he lie about?
He said, what did you say? I interrupted you.
No, it was
Conference thing.
it was
You said that
it was
you
about
got started
PowerShell.
from
Yeah.
when we started to ship.
PowerShell launched in Barcelona in 2006 at TechEd. I was involved prior to that.
Well, prior to that.
Well, yeah.
You had a very significant role prior to that. I remember.
I like gaggle of giants.
I like that too.
I disagree. I think a gaggle of giants is best.
They were in rare form. There was a whole lot of banter, a lot of stories I'd never heard before, and honestly, a lot of advice. So even if you don't love PowerShell, you can learn a lot about having a successful career, communicating with others, building community, speaking publicly, all kinds of awesome stuff. So that was really awesome. Very forward. I was expecting like a 30-minute interview, and we're like 30 minutes in, and they are gassed up, and there's no chance I'm going to interject and stop. So after about an hour and 10, I was like, okay, I don't want to take all your time. But it was, gosh, that was awesome.
I'm excited for that
That's
episode.
awesome. Yeah.
Speaking of speaking
yeah.
publicly, Andrew, how'd your talk go?
Thank you, Josh, for asking. Well, you know what? A talk was delivered. It's funny. I was on the foot, recording videos, taking photos of people and stuff. And I recorded a little something before our talk with my co-presenter, James, because he was a little nervous. I was a little nervous. So I was like, hey, it's the morning of our
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's the irony.
was going into it. And then we ran into a couple of issues. The day has arrived. It's the morning of our big talk. We are going to be speaking in about 30 minutes. We're putting in those final touches. We've practiced. We're
put in the prep. So whatever happens, happens. There's not much more you can do. Excited, honestly. Geek out about some profiles, some workflow, and looking forward to tell you how it goes. Kind of unnecessary unless it's a certain kind of module, because whenever you go to run a command, it'll be available. But there's some kind of configuration type modules, such as Posh by James Brundage. That's a good excuse for that. All right, well, you know what? We're just doing it on the fly. That's cool. Yep, let's just...
Cool.
Yeah, 10 minutes of nothing on the screen. So that was a little wrench in the plans, but it worked out in the end. It is, kind of that's what I do on the podcast every week. But it made it memorable, and just the juxtaposition of, life sometimes is a sitcom, and you're like the one they're all laughing at, and I try to laugh at it too.
Well, I'm glad it went well though.
Yeah,
it was fun. It's a very exciting topic. I love talking about profiles and things of that nature. But I want to mention something that was really cool too, like the support I was feeling from the PowerShell team, from all the different folks who've been around PowerShell for a while. And even Jason Helmick. There was actually one night I was recording bar sessions with some people, and Jason came up and he said, "Hey, can I record something real quick?" And I was like, "Sure, you want to be on video? What do you want?" And he's like, No, just press record." So I handed him the mic, and he actually said some really kind things, and it was a real reassuring little message that I think we have that queued up.
Hey folks, this is Jason Helmick, product manager on the PowerShell team, and if you haven't been listening to this podcast, you've been doing it all wrong. So let me give you a great example. If you want to learn about PowerShell, but not just PowerShell, automation at a global scale with multiple tools and the right ways to do it, you need to be checking out this podcast. This is officially supported by the PowerShell team at Microsoft.
wow.
That was big.
Boom.
That gives you warm fuzzies, right?
It does. It most certainly does. Jason, so many people in the community who are in the position of him are so supportive, but it still feels nice every time.
Yeah.
And
It has to, right?
Oh, yeah. And there was actually a convo I had with him. I think it was after this, but I was sitting at the bar with him and Jeff Hicks, and we were just chit-chatting about things that we can do to PowerShell and what it needs and what I've learned so far and what I plan to do. And the topic of creating a module to query PowerShell podcasts came up, and, make it look pretty and whatnot. And believe it or not, the next day, Jeff Hicks had already had a little preview sent out to me. So this is live right now. PS Podcast, you can install the module yourself, and you can keep up to date with what's going on in the PowerShell podcast right from PowerShell. You can put it in your profile. It'll pop up every day, and you can click the links. You got colors. You got all the fancy stuff that you can expect from PowerShell Spectre Console. And yeah, you don't even have to leave PowerShell to do it now.
Wow. That's so cool, Andrew. Congratulations. We can say we knew him when, Josh.
Yeah. I knew that guy when. I knew that guy when.
Listen,
all right.
We're all on this journey together.
So talk about going forward. All right, maybe this is the first time somebody's seeing this and hearing the podcast. What are we doing going forward?
Going forward, we got support coming from every direction. I've realized that what needs the most help is the beginners. The beginners and intermediate, get started, that kind of thing. I have tons of content that cater to the advanced audience, and that's awesome. But PowerShell Wednesdays is your go-to every single meeting, 2 p.m. Eastern. We meet on Discord. We talk to each other. We get presenters. We learn topics. We reinforce things you may already know. I think we had about 40 people this week, and then there were about 20 people who stuck around for 45 minutes for a little chit chat afterwards. And that's in addition to the PowerShell podcast every single Monday. We do not miss a Monday. We are here to support you. If you're trying to learn PowerShell, if you're the only one, get a support system. It's there for you. I also am going to be doing a lot more on socials this year, right? Because trying to help out that beginner audience, they need short, quick things, sharing more what I'm already doing, sharing takeaways from the podcast, from PowerShell Wednesdays, from blogs that we write here at PDQ, a whole bunch of great stuff. And Discord.gg/PDQ for sure. Yeah. That's where it's popping. And it's been really popping up a lot lately. We see a lot of beginners who are on their journey connecting dots. Shout out to Dustin. He's been asking so many fantastic questions. And recently he learned about for each object and iterating and $PS item and all these fancy things. And the channel is there. If anyone has a question, we are happy. You'll see the answers. People will respond. We love to teach people. It's the best way to learn. We got a whole lot of that. Every single Wednesday, every single Monday, and a few other things interspersed in there. And going forward, I'm very proud of what we've been able to accomplish, but it's time to take things to the next level. And I'm very excited to announce here for the first time that I am going to be the Director of Community Engagement for PowerShell.org. So I'll be taking over for Mike Kanakos, who will be stepping down and doing all I can to improve the community and improve the engagement and make PowerShell Summit the best thing that it can be.
Congrats, Andrew. That's amazing. So excited for you.
Fun
And
week,
us.
fun year ahead.
Yeah,
Building
absolutely.
something special.
Okay, so maybe I'm a beginner at PowerShell, and at times maybe I get frustrated. Right? You get frustrated with PowerShell?
No.
Oh
Get
yeah.
frustrated with computers? I think we have something special for the audience here for those times that you are a little frustrated with those just persnickety devices in your life.
Well, no, I'm going to do it for the users. I did this for the users.
Oh, this
for
is
you
for the-
guys.
Okay.
For our customers, because we love you.
Well, let's see what you did.
Yeah, let's see what I did.
Yo. Jammed up servers, another alert buzzing. Help desk logs filled with request cousin. Printer won't print, but it's out of the paper. End user logic evaporates like vapor. Peripheral therapy, toss it to the sky. Keyboards flying, man, I don't ask why. Routers, monitors, calm proof. Stress relief's calling, throw it off the roof. Mouse won't click, did you jiggle the wire? They don't read pictures, set systems on fire. Emails demanding, fix it now, bro. Meanwhile, my patience running out slow. Peripheral therapy, tech takes the blame. Smash the malfunction, we ain't playing games. Hard drive screaming, it's a final goodbye. Stress gets lighter as the gadgets die. Monitors shattered, tangled in the cords. The battlefields where chaos roars. Laptops crashing, gravity's assist. Call this the therapy we just can't resist. Peripheral therapy, toss it to the sky. Keyboards flying, man, I don't ask why. Trader routers, monitors, calm proof. Stress relief's calling, throw it off the roof.
I'm not gonna lie. The golf swing with the sledgehammer at that Fortinet, oh, that felt good.
You know, you guys, here's what we learned. The dock that I threw into the wall barely even did anything to it.
It almost
remember?
did more damage to you
It
than you
almost
did
hit
to
me
it.
in the face, and I took it to Josh. It barely even had a scratch on the corner.
That's a Lenovo dock.
It's a Lenovo dock.
Should have
gonna
seen what
sur-
happened to the wall, though.
Yeah.
Big chunk.
And those phones, indestructible.
Oh,
Almost.
those Polycom phones?
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
we couldn't do anything to them.
Yeah, we couldn't even do anything to those. So the curb stomping of the keyboard was my fave, though.
So Jake and I did take up a server, like a half-depth server, up to the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And after we dropped the monitor and watched it kind of do one of these for a second,
Mm-hmm.
thought better than to throw off a steel server from 6 stories high.
It's probably a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
Don't-
it came back and hit me. Almost hit me in the face. It was great.
It's absolutely satisfying.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Yeah.
We had a good time. So,
Anyhow, I hope you all enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I sure did. I had fun
did.
filming it.
I very much did. So, okay, that's all for today, right?
That's it.
All right.
We're done. We're buttoned up.
Thanks for watching. Congratulations, Andrew.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Huge win. Huge win for the community. They're lucky to have you.
Thanks.
Alrighty. For PDQ, I'm Josh.
I'm Tara.
Thank you for joining our webcast today. Do us a couple favors. I always ask, and you never disappoint. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave us your comments and join us on Discord. That is where the fun really happens. Have a great week. We'll see you back here next time.